Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope you all are fine and paying good attention to your studies. My dear students, our today's video is related to English, grade 2. My dear students, as you all know that we have started our second term. So in today's video, we will cover a very important topic, which is verbs and its forms. My dear students, as you all know that verb means action words. All kinds of action that we perform are verbs. And let me tell you, my dear students, verb has forms. Each verb has different forms, and those forms are used according to the time and the need. And it's very important to understand that which verb will be used in which type of situation and which type of sentence. So today we will try to understand this. So let's start. My dear students, as you all know that verb means action. For example, sleep, walk, eat, read, drinking, walking, jumping. These all are action verbs. As you can see in the picture as well, different kinds of actions are shown over here. Like juggle, juggling of things, throw, throwing something, think, thinking is a verb, and sleep, sleeping is a verb, drive, swim, catch, sing, paint, pour. Just like this, climb, watch, write, kick, crawl, whisper, cook, eat, drink, and read. My dear students, this and many more, every kind of action that we look around, that we see, is basically a verb. That action word will be known as verb. Eat, drink, and read. This and many more. All the action words are verbs. Now, my dear students, forms of verbs are used according to time and tenses, thus representing past, present, and future time. Now, my dear students, what is this? Basically, when you write or when you speak a verb, that verb or that action, it shows that at what time that action took place. Therefore, a verb tells about the time. My dear students, as you know that time is divided in 3 phases. Past, which is finished. Present, which is going on. And future, which will come. The time which is yet to come, which is still not there. And when we are writing a sentence, if we observe verb, then we can easily find out that what time or what tense in it, what tense is in that verb. So my dear students, verb represents time, verb represents that at what time that action is taken place. So my dear students, I would like to tell you that there are 3 forms of verb that can be regular or irregular. Now, what does it mean? First of all, let me tell you that there is first form of verb, there is second form of verb, and there is third form of verb. It means that for a particular action, meaning will be same, but its spelling and its time will keep on changing. For example, walk. Walk is an action. Walk, when we will write W-A-L-K, walk, it is first form of verb. Which is first form of verb is basically used for present and future. Now, walked, this is second form of verb, and once again, walked, same spelling, this is third form of verb. Now, my dear students, if in a sentence, for example, walk is used, which is our action, only by observing walk, like for example, there is a sentence that boy walks in a garden. Now, just by observing walk, we should be quickly and we should easily understand that it is the first form of verb, and that is also telling that what time it is representing. It means it is present time, it is present tense. And if we want to talk about the past time, we will say that boy walked in the garden, which means now we are talking about past time. So my dear students, just by observing verb, we can tell that it is present time or is it past time. For example, if walk is used, that is, it means they are talking about present time. If walked is used, it means they are talking about past time. My dear students, some forms of verb are regular and some are irregular. Now, what does it mean? A regular form of verb, if you will notice, they have very slight changes when we change first form into second and then the third form. They have very small changes. The base words, the base spellings will remain same. Only some additional spellings will be added, which will change the time, which will change the form of the verb. Just look at example number 1, accept. It is first form of verb, accept. Second form of verb is accepted, and third is again accepted. Did you notice that in the spellings of accept, ed is added and the form of verb changed? This is regular degree of verb. Now look at second example, achieve. It is the first form of verb. The second form is achieved and the third form is achieved. Again, the same spelling. So just observe that they have added only ed and it became achieved, which is second form. So this is regular form of verbs. Now look at third example, add. Second form of verb of add is added and the third is again added. So again ed is added to make the first form into the second form. This is known as regular forms of verb. As you can notice that the spelling of first form of verb remained same. There were no changes in them, just some additional spellings were added and the form of verb totally changed. It just completely changed. So this is regular form of verbs. Now my dear students, we will look at few more examples for better understanding. Our example number 1 is complain. Second form of verb is complained and third form of verb is complained. Ed is added and there is just a slight addition in the spelling. Now next example is construct. Second form is constructed and third form is constructed. Again ed is added to change the form of verb. Our third example is control. Second form is controlled and third form is controlled. Again ed is added. Look at the next example, copy. Second form of verb is copied and third is again copied. Our next example is count. Second form is counted and third form is again counted. Look at next example, create. Second form is created and third form is again created. And the next example is cry. The second form is cried and the third form is again cried. My dear students, as you can observe that mostly ed is added to change the first form into second form. My dear students, the meaning of the verb, the meaning of our action is same, but the tense, the time, it is changing. For example, cry. When we will use cry, we will probably mean as first form of verb, which means present time. When we will use cried, it means we are talking about past time. For example, baby cries, that is first form of verb and it is representing present time. The baby will cry, this is future, and the baby cried, it is representing past time. Now the type of action is same, but the tense, the time, the form of verb is changing. Now my dear students, now look at irregular forms of verb. Why we call them irregular is because the type of action will remain same, but when the first form will change into the second form, almost all the spelling will change. Now we will try to understand this with the help of some examples. Our first example is drink, which is first form of verb. The second form is drank and the third form is drunk. As you can see that the spelling are changing. There is no addition of spelling, like we are not adding ed. We are changing the spelling. First it was drink, drink. Then it became drank, drank, and then it became drunk, which means that we are changing the spellings. Now look at next example. Eat, the second form is ate, eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. Did you notice? All the spellings are changed. Next example is go, the second form is went, and the third form is gone. Go, went, gone. All spellings are totally changed. This is irregular. Now next example is sleep. Second form is slept and the third form is slept. Our next example is drive. Second form is drove and the third form is driven. Drive, drove, driven. All spellings are changed. Our next example is read. First form, second form read, third form read. It will be pronounced as read, but the spelling are same. So did you notice here is no change at all. So this is also irregular. This is also, we can say this is not normal. This is also different. So next example is do, did, done, and next example is buy, bought, bought. So my dear students, these are the irregular forms of verb when and where all the spellings are completely changed. Now we will look at some more examples. Our first example is forget, forgot, forgotten. Next example is forgive, forgave, forgiven. Our next example is write, wrote, written. Our next example is know, knew, known. Our next example is learn, learned, learned. Next is make, made, made. Our next example is mean, meant, meant. Next example is read, read, read. And next example is rise, rose, risen. Dear students, these are irregular forms of verb and each form is representing a different tense, a different time, and it will be used according to the need of the time, whatever we want to talk or write about. For example, we say that he writes a letter. It means they are talking about present time. And if we say that he wrote a letter, it means now we are talking about past time. So the form of verb tells about tense, it tells about time. So when we change the spelling of the verb, it can be regular or irregular. It means that our time, our tense, it is changing. So verb plays a very important role. Verb not only tells about what type of action it is, but it also tells about the time. Now we will look at an exercise which is given in the book. Our first example is go. Its second form will be went and the third form will be gone. Our next example is buy. Its second form will be bought and third form will be bought. Our next example is spent, spent, spent. Our next example is see, saw, seen. Next is get, got, got. Next is give, gave, given. My dear students, our next example is make, made, made. And next is come, came, come. As you can see, first form, second form and third form. I hope that now you have understood what are forms of verb and why the spelling of the verb change, because they are giving a meaning. They are telling that the time is changing, that the tense is changing. So we have to carefully observe our verb in order to tell what time it is. So this is it for today, my dear students. I hope you have understood our today's topic. Thank you so much.